What we're showing here is the M3 Hive modifications that we're talking about. As you can see, this is a full structure of an M3 hive that produces bees as well as honey. So I'm going to break it down and then I'll break it all the way back up and show you what it's used for. We're using a migratory lid up on top. You can see it's green on one side and red on the other. That way, this is a good hive. This one means problems, treatment, queen, something. Then I'll put this on top. I can see it's red. If I see it's green, I know it's good to go. So I got my top cover. I'm using migratory top covers so I don't have inner lids. But what the next thing I do is I usually put in this. This is a propolis extractor. This gives me another product. Fills it with propolis, you freeze it, you crackle it, drop the propolis out. So there's a product. Next that I have on the top of my hive is you can see these like little tabs. I make those on the hive so I can turn them. Holds my hives tight. I put them up like this, I screw into them. That way my hives are tight. I take this screw out and I turn it and I'm able to remove the next box. Right? So it helps hold all my hives for wind and stuff. So these tabs are important when we go through it. But the next thing I have is a Ross round box. 36 Ross rounds. So there's a honey production. So there's a second product. Then I have a honey box, right? Because there's the queen excluder. So there's 9 frames in here. And the frames produce 5 pounds of honey apiece. And this is what I'm using for my honey frame. Plastic all the way through, all pre-made comb. I stick it right in, the bees fill it with honey and cap it. Due to the fact I'm using 9 frame spacers inside here, right? I got 9 frame spacers inside here. I get a 1/4 inch of wax, 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch wax on each side of my boards. So I still get wax capping production. So I get wax capping production for lip balms and other things. So there's another product as well as 5 pounds of honey from this frame that I can put it and spin it. Bees don't even need to build the wax. They just fill it and spin it. So there's the honey box, right? And then of course our queen excluder. And then I'm going 2 brood boxes. They're medium boxes, so they're 9 frame. This is my feeder unit that I'm using. It fits in there. Right, but this is what 2 brood boxes look like on a thing. So if you would get a deep box and set it on here, this is only this much bigger than a deep. So instead of having 10 frames in a deep, I'm only adding about 1 inch and maybe 3/4 of an inch, and I'm getting 9 more frames. So I'm using 2 medium boxes for the brood chamber. As you can see, all my boxes have these little hinges, right? I can turn them down. Right? You turn them down and right, the migratory lid fits right on top of them. Right? Just like you would want to. I turn them up and I can lock the next box in by screwing in the screws. No staples, no wood, no fuss. Right? I just do this little modification and it holds my boxes together so they don't move, right? So I'm using medium boxes. So let's go right down to it. I like using non-screen bottom boards. I control the airflow with this and these. Right? If I turn it here, there's no airflow coming in. If I turn this, there's only a little airflow from the vents that are coming in. So a little bit of airflow coming in. If I turn my nut disc this way, that's a 5/8 inch hole. And the bees can fly in and out. So now I've got access in and out, but nothing's landing in and walking in. I have this all boarded off, all the way across, except for this little entranceway here. This little entranceway I'm able to control, and as you can see now it's got mice guard, and the bees can come in and out. I got airflow here, and bees coming in and out here, or I turn it, and only bees can come out but no queen, because this is a queen excluder. So I could got bees here, and if I don't want the queen to come out again, I just close my thing, and only the bees can come out of this section. So the Hive modification for the M3 system is this box, right? We use a flat bottom board, so I'm going to show you it. And as you can see, I have my tabs on the side, so I can turn them. And if I turn them all the way down, they reverse to the other side. Wah, wah! Right? Because a bottom board is made for two things: a shallow end and a deep end. The deep end is for winter, the shallow end is for summer. So we're just going to do summer. So I turn all my tabs up because I'm doing summer. And you can see I've got a little tab of wood here that's going in, and that's blocking my entranceway. As you can see, it's about the same depth as the 3/8 inch here. So I only have a little opening here. That'd be the same distance as a board line feeder. So I glue this piece of wood down, 3/8 inch, about 8.5 inches long, and I block that side of the entranceway. I don't like the big entranceways. I've never seen a tree or anything in the world with a big old entranceway. So we make this little entranceway. And what's really cool is then we put on our box. And our box, I said, has a 3x3 inch by 1/2 inch piece of wood that we put on. And we put them on everything. And it just makes it so when I stick the box on, they don't shift. They don't move around. When I go to pry, I just tip those things over and I pry my boxes up. Right? So the first thing is this bottom. We're using the little part with the spacer division in it. On my medium boxes, I'm using this gate. This is called a mouse gate. I mount them to the bottom of my brood boxes, and it allows me to control the flow of the bees coming in. On every one of my hives, I measure up just above that gate, and I drill a 5/8 inch hole. That 5/8 inch hole allows bees to come out, and I get a nook disc, and I put it on. And this allows me to control my bees now. Everything about them. I just take out my 3 nails, and I can turn the box, and I can do it on this side. So my boxes are reversible and interchangeable. Now this is a window, because I kind of put wood in here, and I can make it some minor observation hives if I want it. But if you don't want observation hives, you can make them just like this. This is just a typical medium box. And you can see, right in the middle on one side, I put the 5/8 inch hole. Directly on the opposite end, I do the same thing. So they're on this side. And the reason for that is if I set the box down like this, and airflow goes this way. But what happens if I have a gate and everything on this side of my hive? Well, then I just turn it. And now the gate and stuff's on the other side of the hive. So putting them both on the same side, I'm able to rotate the box to use it for airflow. So I can set this box down here. And airflow is going to come in through this hole here and on this side. So now the air comes in, and this is blowing in, it comes up this side. I'm controlling the airflow. So on this side, I can set the box this way. And now, only the air comes on this side. So I can adjust the air on this side. If I take my next box, and I set it opposite, the airflow goes in, the airflow goes in, and now I'm controlling the airflow in the hive, making it so it can be cooler or warmer. I can even do it by adjusting the airflow correctly, by turning the disc and shutting off the airflow at all, and only the air comes up this way now. So by doing this type of stuff, I control airflow, climate, and humidity in my hive. By using a migratory lid on top, I just turn these this way. I put these up and I turn this down, and I can stick my lid on top. So those are made. So this is basically what a hive typically looks like from us. And I'll just put the cover on it so you can see real quick. Just turn down the tab, right? Let it reach for me there, right? And I can just put my lid on. Just like so. And that's what a hive should look like. Except for we put the little gates in front of them. Right, so I could put, see, this gate is set for the other side. So I'd have to turn the hive around to the other side and build it the other way. So the airflow comes in and I control the bees. This whole thing with the gate, we sell for $300. 9-frame starter hive. Bottom board, medium box with 9 frames and a lid. And we just screw the lid down and we drill some 3/8 holes in it, put screen on it, and we can ship them. So this is a $300 hive. And people go, why? Well, I can control and lock all the bees in. So when we ship them, the bees are in there. They usually have 4 to 5 frames in it, medium, with a queen, laying brood, hatching and everything. And they're almost probably ready to move across. So when you get a hive from us, basically you undo the 4 screws, you take the lid off, and you add your next box. No moving nooks in, no moving bees in. I just remove I take my beehive home, I remove the lid, and I put my next box on it with all my frames in it, and the bees work across and up. Right, so there's no buying packages from us. You just buy a starter hive at the bottom. Right, so like some of our starter hives, they have the little glass frame in the back. And that's for cool, you know, like observation and stuff. If you want it, they're a little extra. We just put the glass in them. But basically, I just set down my hive. And this is what it looks like when we're going. Airflow, airflow. But if I put the lid on it, no flow, no flow. So that works good. So now you saw how the hive is modified and why. And as we go through the program, you'll see more and more why. But here's one thing that I want you to look at, is we're using 9 frames in our hive. Right? And there's a reason why. We have this that we build and put in our hives. It's a piece of plywood on one side of a medium frame. Does a lot. I can make fondant, pour it in here, and I slip it on this side. Now by slipping it on this side, I've made an air barrier right here. Right? So now I've got a little air barrier and the bees have all this to feed on. So that's fondant. So on my first frame, right, when I get bees, like say, okay, I bought a package of bees. I put a frame of fondant in this side. And then I do what we call a starter frame. And if you don't have dead outs or anything, you're just starting out, this is called Better Comb by Better Bee. It has a way that it's put in to be up so the cells are facing the right way. We slip that into a frame and you put your toothpicks on each side and it holds that in. Right? Now the queen has cells all ready to lay brood in. Right? So I have my frame of food in. I have this for the queen to start in. Right? Just like that. And I might put 2 of those in. Or I put in one of these, not the yellow ones, the black ones. And I put that in my 3rd spacer or 4th spacer if I'm using 2 things of Better Comb. So I put a fondant frame, 2 frames of better comb, and between the better combs where I put my queen cage. And then the last one on the 4th cell is one the bees can work off of. And I have another one of these. So this one on this side has fondant, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put that in there like this. And now I have made a nook. So I've just made a nook on this side with the bees. Now, my entranceways and stuff on this side. So I would actually put the fondant board in this side. I would put the better comb frames here and there. That's 3 frames, and the 4th frame would be something for the bees to work off of, right? And then I would put another division board in. Now the bees are all on one side of nook with the entranceway, with the air hole and the airflow and everything. I can control the bees like a nook. I put these in and I build this way and I put the bees in, and in 3 days I come back to see if the queen's out. If the queen's out of the cage, I close it back up and I wait 6 more days, because that would be 9 days. So in 9 days after installation, I check the 3rd day to see if the queen's out. And 6 days later, I should see in this better comb larvae. And it's all kind of cool with that, because then the hole punch method of punching out larvae and putting them in queen cells cup, I could just punch out of here and I could start making my queen cells for the next round. Right? So I could build this all the way across. Now as the bees filled up the better comb and build on this frame, right, and this frame gets full, I just pull out my division board and I just keep moving it down, right? Just like top bar beekeeping. But what I'm doing is I'm controlling the space with the bees. So by moving the frame down, I'm able to let the bees start growing. And if they make queen cells, I know they need more room or a box, right? So on the M3, basically I'm using 3 medium boxes for this. That's how we get them started and move them about. So I use the first box. I put my feeder frame of fondant, 2 things of better comb, and 1 frame for them to work, the division board, and then just foundation, black foundation across it, because I'll get to them. I'm going to move them. Right, so as the bees go, I'll move them across, and I'll move across, and I'll add another box. And the reason we say M3 is because the 2nd box will be the next medium box. Right? So that's 2. So that's 2 of the M3. 2 medium boxes, airflow and everything on one side where I can control it and everything. Now the 3rd box can either go into honey flow operation, or we put the 3rd box on to start doing splits. And I do cloaking. So right here, I would put my next board on, and all of a sudden they start building and I see the queens moved up into this area, right? So the queen's up here. So what I do is then I go ahead and I smoke the bees down. And now I know the queen's down in this box. I lift up this medium box and I insert this. This is called a cloaking board. What it does is if the larvae lay bees up in here, the worker bee's got to go back up to cover those bees to keep them warm. But the queen will stay down here. So if I put this cloaking board in, between the 2 hives, they're going to migrate up in, because this has a queen excluder on it. Right? And once the bees have migrated all the way up into that box, I take this and I just tilt the box a little bit and I slide it in. Ha-ha! Now I've isolated the 2 hives. They need a queen. I've got a brood, eggs, and everything. They just need a queen. So I can either force them to make one, or I add one. And I just split the hive down. adding another box, right? So I could add the third box on top of this one, migrating up. I could split this way 3 times by using these cloak boards, just moving the bees up. 3 medium boxes, making 3 more hives, right? Just by splitting them across this way. So this works out really good. So that's how I can get 3 hives, not just taking and trying to make nooks and splits. I can move the bees up, and I can just keep moving. These bees will keep moving in and out of here. Right? They got a queen, they'll be full. I'll have to manage them and put frames in them and keep moving them around, or they'll swarm. But I've made now splits. So that's how I can split and make a bee product. You've seen that I can make bees, we can make honey, we can make Ross rounds, and we can also make propolis. So when the hive looks all together, I've got it all set together. Make sure it's all, yeah, everything on there. Nice, nice, right? Right, so it's all sitting. What I like about these feeders is I can control them. And this is a little trough like cattle. The bees can line up along the sides. Feeds inside the hive. It's kind of like an inner feeder, except for my bees don't drown. They just line up like cattle on a trough. So I can slip this over, and I've cut out a mouse tooth. And I just slide this in my hive just like this. And now I can see how much feed they eat, because I know how much this is. This is 3 quarts. So this is 3 pounds of feed. So I can watch them eat it. If I ever want to not have them anymore, I just pull it out, and I just close my door. Now the bees are trapped inside, or I can let them come out this side. And I like them coming out here more than down here, because things can land and walk in here. And because I've got a smaller hole, I've got about 2 or 3 guard bees here, and the bees are just coming in and out. And people are like, but if you have bigger openings, you get more bees in and out. And I need more guard bees, and I need more work, and I need to watch them, and I have more problems with mites and mice. And there's not a tree, a brick wall anywhere that has a big wall, a hole. So we just make our own, and this is part of the modification that you'll see. So we put these on. I just open up the little gate, and then I can feed my bees. It just slides right in there. Right, so now I'm watching the bees. I could just add my next box. Right, so I move the division board across. The bees are filling up. I just put my next box on. Right, so now the bees are moving up, and they're starting to fill in a couple areas. And I see comb here and comb here. So I can also manipulate it, moving frames down together, putting a division board, making them move up, and putting a piece of plywood on the bottom. And I can manipulate the bees. I get this in here, and oh, they're going to move up. I'm getting ready to go into honey flow. So I might as well just go ahead and stack an extra box on, because I'm not going to make bees. I want them to have room to make honey. So they moved in here halfway. I put a queen excluder on. I put the next box on. Pull my tabs up, holds everything in place, right? Now I won't move, right? Airflow all on one side. My air is coming in and going up and out. We'll show you the quilting box and stuff later. But I get on like this, right? And I just go and throw a piece of tarp on top or whatever, and then you just throw this on. Oh, it's red, I might need a queen. Oh, it's green, it's ready to go. But now they're going into honey flow. And once I see that these are starting to get comb built, or halfway where I've got like comb, full comb, I add a Ross round or a Hog's half comb or another honey box. Because each honey box is going to yield me 45 pounds of honey. Or add an extra Ross round for 45 pounds of raw honey and 36 Ross round combs. That's the system that you're looking at right here. Completely in full. Right, that's the honey box, right? We go ahead and we'll put the Ross round on there. Right, now I'm going to get a double production of honey. Right, so what's good about this is I can always split this. So there's a split. We know the hive costs us about $100, and we're going to sell the bees for about $200. So that's $300. So there's a $300 split right there. I can sell 45 pounds of honey. I can sell 36 Ross rounds. I can sell. And I could put this in at the top and let the bees fill the propolis screen in, right, all the way across the top, giving me another product. So propolis, Ross round, honey production, bee production, and that's not also including maybe like if I put a pollen trap on the front of this, or I go ahead and I put I start doing queens. I can sell queens as well as royal jelly. So this is what you're looking at from a M3 hive system that we teach. I probably gave you lots of questions where we're getting and where we're selling this equipment, but this is basically what you're looking at. So if you guys have any questions or anything, please keep tuning in. We're going to show you how to use it, how the modifications work, and how you can keep your bees, enclosed and working. Right on.